New
All
day.
right. Where do we want to go today?
Well, I just thinking about all the foolishness that you see out there. I was sitting here
Oh,
waiting for you to come on, and they're talking about emotional distress. You know, how to start an IP address. Is Artemis coming back and soon enough?
oh man. And like so many people like, don't even see how much they're laughing at you by going back to the moon on April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And $90 billion to just drive by and not get out. It's really remarkable stuff. But as we talked about with the second Baruk last week, the fourth beast. Let me pull up the verse here. Second Baruk, chapter 39, verse 5. And after these things, a fourth kingdom will arise, whose power will be harsh and evil, far beyond those which were before it. And it will rule many times as the forests on the plain, and it will hold fast for times, and will exalt itself more than the cedars of Lebanon. Verse 6, and by it, by the fourth beast, the truth will be hidden. And so,
And what's the sign? And only one sign?
stupor.
Stupor.
Yeah. And so you think
Well,
about all the things that America has brought to the world, from the Jesuit education system to all of the Jesuit astronomers who have told us that the earth is round. And all the planets, right? And who told us about the transatlantic slave trade and about Greece and Rome and all the history that they've concocted, moving the scene of the movie from here to over there, right? Um,
well, the movie industry, the ball sports industry, it's endless. Politics, uh, it's endless. So um, she she pointed she was Kathy was telling me about Baruch chapter 56 to 70, talking about night and day, dark and light. And I don't know if you've read that yet. I started reading this, but what caught my attention was second Baruch chapter 56. I think it's verse 7 or so. And it says,
56, you said? Hold on, let me get there.
yeah,
All right,
second
go
Baruch
ahead.
56. Do you? I can't get there right now because
I
I'm up.
can. I can.
Do
All right,
you?
so second Baruch chapter 56,
So,
verse 7. What therefore can be blacker or darker than these things? Verse 8. This is the beginning of the black waters which you have seen. Verse 9. And from these black waters again were black derived, and the darkness of darkness was produced. Verse 10. For he became a danger to his own soul, even to the angels he became a danger. Verse 11. For moreover, at that time when he was created, they enjoyed liberty. Verse 12. And some of them descended and mingled with the women. Verse 13. And then those who did so were tormented in chains. Verse 14. But the rest of the multitude of the angels, of which there is no number, restrained themselves. Verse 15. And those who dwelt on the earth perished together with them through the waters of the deluge, which is the flood. Verse 16, these are the black first waters.
okay. So go back up and let's maybe verse 4. It's the biggest verse in the chapter, and you'll notice there it says that Hades or Sheol requires a blood sacrifice.
In verse 4 of Baruch.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Can
It
you
says
can
right there, it says, Verse 6. For since when he transgressed, untimely death came into being, grief was named, and anguish was prepared, and pain was created, and trouble started, and disease began to be established, and Sheol kept demanding that it should be renewed in blood, and the begetting of children was brought about, and the passion of parents produced, and the greatness of man was humiliated, and goodness languished.
Is this the beginning of a child sacrifice here in that verse? I mean, um,
Well, it's interesting because it says, and Sheol kept demanding that it should be renewed in blood.
mhm.
Yeah, really interesting.
That's what caught my attention about that verse. But what she did today was she was reading. She's moving all through the Apocrypha, but she's in Baruk, and she was reading about she was telling me, I said, what'd you see today? She said, the dark and the light. And we were just talking about the drawing. So from chapter 56 all the way to 70 is about dark and light.
Yeah, yeah, it looks like, like if you go to 57, a short chapter, it says, chapter 57, verse 1, and after these waters you did see bright waters.
Mhm.
This is the fount of Abraham, also his generations, and advent of his son, and of his son's son, and of those like them. Verse 2, because at that time the unwritten Torah was named amongst them, and the works of the commandments were then fulfilled, and the belief in the coming judgment was then generated, and hope of the world that was to be renewed was then built up, and the promise of life that should come thereafter was implanted. These are the bright waters which you have seen. And see, that to me is day 3, where he says it's good twice, where you see, I think that's a reference to Abraham when the waters recede and the land appears, because he makes a promise to Abraham about the land, right? So he says it's good then. Is that a reference to Abraham? And then after that, you have the herb yielding the seed come forth, right? And is that a reference to Moses and the Torah and the children, right? The seed of the Torah.
We can continue on with next chapter.
All right, chapter 58. Verse 1, in the black third waters which we have seen, these are the mingling of all sin, which the nations afterward wrought after the death of those righteous men, and the wickedness of the land of Egypt, wherein they did wickedly in the service wherewith they made their sons to serve. Nevertheless, these also perished at last.
Another reference to making their sons serve. And I don't know.
I feel that's a reference to the bondage of Egypt, no?
Yeah.
Making the sons of Israel serve.
Uh huh.
But then those perish. So that seems to be a reference to the first Exodus and the judgment of Egypt.
Uh huh. Let's go on to 59.
And then notice, yeah, see, now 59. So, and the bright fourth waters which you have seen are the advent of Moses and Aaron. And of who is that? And of Miriam and Joshua. See, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. The son of Moses, obviously, and all of those like them. For at that time the lamp of the eternal Torah shone on all those who sat in darkness, which announced to them that believe the promise of their reward, and to them that deny the torment of fire which is reserved for them. Verse 3, but also the heavens at that time were shaken from their place, and those who were under the throne of the Most High were perturbed when he was taking Moses to himself. Verse 4, for he showed him many admonitions together with the principles of the Torah and the consummations of the times, as also to you, and likewise the pattern of Zion and its measures in the pattern of the sanctuary of the present time was to be made. Verse 5, but then also he showed to him the measures of the fire, also the depths of the abyss, and the weight of winds, and the number of the drops of rain. Verse 6, and the suppression of anger, and the multitude of long suffering, and the truth of judgment. Verse 7, and the root of wisdom, and the riches of understanding, and the fount of knowledge. Verse 8, and the height of the air, and the greatness of paradise, and the consummation of the ages, and the beginning of the day of judgment. Verse 9, and the number of the offerings, and the earths which have not yet come. Verse 10, and the mouth of Sheol, and the station of vengeance, and the place of faith, and the region of hope. Verse 11, and the likeness of future torment, and the multitude of innumerable angels, and the flaming hosts, and the splendor of the lightning, and the voice of the thunders, and the orders of the chiefs of the angels, and the treasuries of light, and the change of the times, and the investigations of the Torah. These are the bright fourth waters which you have seen.
You notice how they reference the Torah as eternal Torah in verse, I think first verse or second verse.
Eternal Torah, what was that? Yeah. For at that time, the lamp of the eternal Torah. No, but it's old and dusty.
It's irrelevant. We're
Yeah,
not.
we got that new.
Got the new lamp.
Yeah. As JC says, who wants an old pair of sneakers, man? Huh? Not me.
I
Not
want.
me. I
I
want the
want.
new.
I want some new Bobos.
Yeah, I need that new. Yeah.
Chapter 60.
All right, so chapter 60. And the fifth, I'm sorry, and verse 1, and the black fifth waters which you have seen raining are the works of the Amorite, which the Amorites wrought, and the spells of their incantations which they wrought, and the wickedness of their mysteries, and the mingling of their pollution. But even Israel was then polluted by sins in the days of the judges, though they saw many signs which were from him who made them.
His arm was still reaching out evermore.
So this is now the corruption of the children of Israel once they enter the land of Canaan by the Amorites
Mm-hmm.
and under the judges, right? Like Eli, for example, Eli's sons, who were worthless men, as the scripture says so beautifully.
Worthless.
All right, see, yeah, verse chapter 61. Wow, this is really beautiful. I'm gonna have to finish reading this. Verse 1, and the bright sixth waters which you did see, this is the time in which David. Okay, so we can just ignore that because that's inserted. This is the time which David was born because Solomon's made up.
Right. That's what she told me. She said, when you get to Solomon, she said, it's David.
Yeah, it's David. Remember, when JC says one greater than Solomon is here, he's not lying. A greater lie is here. You see that? All right. Verse 2, and there was at that time the building of Zion and the dedication of the sanctuary and the shedding of much blood of the nations that sinned then, and many offerings which were offered then in the dedication of the sanctuary. And peace and tranquility existed at that time, and the wisdom was heard in the assembly. So this is the fulfillment of Genesis 37:7. The first beast, according to Revelation, the book of the enemy, right?
Here.
Yeah, this is the first beast that then has a deadly wound, right? When God punishes it, and then it comes and is restored at the end, right? That's why the toilet, the book of the enemies, has two beasts. Daniel has four. They're not telling you the same story. It's a different story. Okay. All right. 4. And the riches of understanding were magnified in the assemblies. Verse 5. And the holy feasts were fulfilled in blessedness and in much joy. Verse 6. And the judgment of the rulers was then seen to be without guile, and the righteousness of the precepts of the Most High was accomplished with truth. And the land which was then beloved by Ao, and because of its inhabitants sinned not, it was glorified beyond all the lands. And the city Zion ruled then over all lands and regions. Verse 8. These are the bright waters which you have seen. So this is the first half of the fourth day.
The first
All
half,
right.
first of the fourth day.
First half of the fourth day. So the end of the morning vision, right? Dao's kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the sun is created on day 4, right? David is the son of righteousness, the Messiah, right? The light of Israel. That's why David comes on day 4. That's when the sun is created. That's when the Messiah is created, basically. You see? So you even see that same symbolism of each day of creation pointing forward to a prophecy in that 1,000-year period.
Can you post the drawing of the
So
light?
it's in the house chat. I don't think I can post it here, but I can make it my profile. So let me do that at least. Yeah. Yin and Yang, the Masonic checkerboard, black, white. Yeah.
Imagine.
So I just updated my profile. So anybody listening on the replay, you just tap it and you'll see it. Um, but I've also posted it to YouTube as a post. Um, and when I upload episode 8, which I should do either tonight or hopefully tonight, if not tomorrow morning, it's the background of that episode, and I go into it in great detail. So definitely something to take a look at. All right. So chapter 62. And the black seventh waters which you have seen, this is the perversion brought about by the counsel of Jeroboam, who took counsel to make 2 calves of gold. That's right. That's Jeroboam, right? Is that Jeroboam?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeroboam. Okay. And all the iniquities which kings who were after him iniquitously wrought, and the curse of Jezebel and the worship of idols which Israel practiced at that time, and the withholding of rain, and the famines which occurred until women ate the fruits of their wombs. Verse 5, in the time of their captivity which came upon the 9 tribes and a half. Okay, so that's nonsense. And the time of their captivity which came upon 9 tribes. It's not half a tribe, right? No, 10 tribes. 10 tribes. And the time of their captivity which came upon the 10 tribes, because they were in many sins. Verse 6. And what is that? Shalmaneser, king of Asherah, came and led them away. That's Assyria, maybe?
Assyria took the 10
Yeah,
northern
Assyria. Yeah,
tribes.
that's Assyria, yeah. So the king's name was Shalmaneser.
Yeah.
Verse 7, but regarding the other nations, it were tedious to tell how they always wrought impiety and wickedness and never wrought righteousness. These are the black seventh waters which you have seen.
That's a reference to Judah and Ephraim.
Uh-huh.
That the remaining tribes, the southern tribes, this is where he says your sins are going to pay double for your wickedness.
So think about this, that we just went through 7 waters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Morning and evening for 3.5 days is 7 parts.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? So if you go to that image, we were just told we just got to the cutoff. So now part 8 right now is going to be Babylon coming.
going
Is
to be
that right?
it's going to be the darkness. It's going to be the cutoff at 3,500 years.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Let's read it. So Baruch chapter 63, verse 1. And the bright 8 waters which you have seen, this is the rectitude and uprightness of, what is that? Zedekiah? Uh, yeah. No, Hezekiah. Okay. Okay. This is the uprightness of Hezekiah, king of Judah, and the grace of the Most High which came upon him. For when the king of Assyria was stirred up in order that he might perish, and his wrath troubled him in order that he might thereby perish, for the multitude also of the nations which were with him. Verse 3, when moreover Hezekiah the king heard those things which the king of Assyria was devising, that he was coming to seize him and destroy his people and the 2 tribes which remained. Nay, more, he wished to overthrow Zion also. Then Hezekiah trusted in his works and had hope in his righteousness, and spoke with the Most High and said, Behold, for lo, the king of Assyria is prepared to destroy us, and he will be boastful and uplifted when he has destroyed Zion. And the Most High heard him, for
Hezekiah.
Hezekiah was wise, and he had respect to his prayer because he was righteous. Verse 6, and thereupon the Most High commanded Ramiel, his angel, who speaks with you. Verse 7, and I went forth and destroyed their multitude, the number of whose chiefs was only 185,000. Each one of them had equal number at his command. And at that time I burned their bodies within, but their raiment and arms I preserved outwardly, in order that the still more wonderful deeds of the Most High might appear, and that thereby his name might be spoken of throughout the whole earth. Verse 9, and Zion was saved and Jerusalem delivered. Verse 10, Israel was also freed from tribulation, and all those who were holy in the land rejoiced, and the name of the Most High was glorified, so that it was spoken of. These are the bright waters which you have seen. Interesting.
You want to pause for a second?
Mm-hmm.
You said they were burnt from with the inside, and their clothing and their raiment remained on the outside. This is the death of the 185,000 Assyrians.
Yeah, for sure. That's what that is.
It made me think of Aaron's 2 sons, Abiad, and
Nadab and Abihu.
Nadab and Abihu. And we questioned that before too. But I just picked up on that. Okay, so this is coming up to Babylon now.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I should drink some water. Okay. Second Baruch, chapter 64, verse 1. And the black ninth waters which you have seen, this is all the wickedness which was in the days of, who is that? Me, me, M- Manassas? Son of Hezekiah. For he wrought much impiety, and he slew the righteous, and he perverted judgment. Verse 3, and he shed the blood of the innocent, and wedded women he violently polluted. And he overturned the altars, and destroyed their offerings, and drove forth their priests, lest they should minister in the sanctuary. Verse 5, and he made an image with 5 faces. 4 of them looked to the 4 winds, and the 5th on the summit of the image, as an adversary of the zeal of the Most High. And then the wrath went, I'm sorry, verse 5. And then wrath went forth from the presence of the Most High to the intent that Zion should be rooted out, as also it befell in your days. Verse 6. But also against the two tribes went forth a decree that they should also be led away captive, as you have now seen. And to such a degree did the impiety of Manasseh increase, that it removed the praise of the Most High from the sanctuary. On this account, Manasseh was at that time named the impious, and finally his abode was in the fire. Verse 8. For though his prayer was heard with the Most High, finally, when he was cast into the brazen horse, and the brazen horse was melted, it served as a sign to him for the hour. Verse 9. For he had not lived perfectly, for he was not worthy, but that henceforth he might know by whom he finally should be tormented. Verse 10. For he who is able to benefit is also able to torment. Hmm. All right.
You have two of Hezekiah's son, Manasseh, and I'm trying to think of the other one.
Well, yeah. So clearly, this is extending much longer than just splitting them in half. But yeah, let's continue. Second Baruk, chapter 65, verse 1. Thus, moreover, did Manasseh act impiously, and thought that in his time the Most High would not inquire into these things. Verse 2. These are the black ninth waters which you have seen. All right. Next up. Second Baruch chapter 66, verse 1. And the bright tenth waters which you have seen, this is the purity of the generations of Josiah, king of Judah, who was the only one at the time who submitted himself to the Most High with all his heart and with all his soul. Verse 2. And he cleansed the land from idols, and sanctified all the vessels which had been polluted, and restored the offerings to the altar, and raised the horn of the holy, and exalted the righteous, and honored all that were wise and understanding, and brought back the priests to their ministry, and destroyed and removed the magicians and the enchanters and the necromancers from the land. Verse 3. And not only did he slay the impious that were living, but they also took from the sepulchres the bones of the dead and burned them with fire. Verse 4. And the feasts and the Sabbaths he established in their sanctity, and their polluted ones he burned in the fire, and the lying prophets which deceived the people, these also he burnt in the fire. Hallelujah. Oh. And the people who listened to them when they were living, he cast them into the brook Cedron, and heaped stones upon them. Verse 5. For he was zealous with his zeal for the Most High with all his soul. And he alone was firm in the Torah at that time, so he left none that was uncircumcised, or that wrought impiety in all the land, all the days of his life. Verse 6. Therefore shall he receive an eternal reward, and he shall be glorified with the Most High beyond many at a later time. Verse 7. For on his account, and on account of those who are like them, were the honorable glories of which you were told before, created and prepared. These are the bright waters which you have seen. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Second Baruch chapter 67, verse 1. And the black 11th waters which you have seen, this is the calamity which is now befalling Zion. Verse 2, do you think that there is no anguish to the angels in the presence of the Most High, that Zion was so delivered up, and that lo, the other nations boast in their hearts and assembled before their idols and said, she is trodden down, who oft times trod down? She has been reduced to servitude that reduced others. See, you see that? That's exactly what they say in Revelation. Here is the patience of the saints.
Mm-hmm.
He that leads into captivity will be led into captivity. He that kills with the sword will be killed by the sword. They're talking about Israel, taking them into captivity, killing them with the sword as they did, right? Notice what it says here. She is trodden down who oft times trod down, and she has been reduced to servitude that reduced others. Verse 3, do you think that in these things the Most High rejoices, or that his name is glorified? Verse 4, but how will it serve towards his righteous judgment? Verse 5, yet after these things shall the dispersed among other nations been taken hold of by tribulation, and in shame shall they dwell in every place. Verse 6, because so far as Zion is delivered up and Jerusalem is laid waste, shall idols prosper in the cities of the other nations, and the vapor of the smoke of the incense of righteousness, which is by the Torah, is extinguished in Zion. And in the region of Zion, in every place, lo, there is smoke of impiety. Verse 7, but the king of Babel will arise, who has now destroyed Zion, and he will boast over the people, and he will speak great things in his heart in the presence of the Most High.
The
Verse
smoke,
8,
the smoke of impiety reminds me of the Rome with the cardinals and put the white or black smoke up the chimney.
mhm. Verse 8, but he also shall fall at last. These are the black waters. I think this proves very clearly that Isaiah 14 is talking about the king of Babylon.
Mm.
Because look at what that says, verse 7, but the king of Babylon will arise, who has destroyed Zion, and he will boast over the people and will speak great things in his heart in the presence of the Most High. Doesn't it say he will speak great things, great blasphemies against the Most High?
Yeah,
Exalt himself above the Most High?
yeah.
All right. Verse 68.
Well, you have to mark that chapter, Isaiah 14.
Yeah. So that's the judgment. So I notice it's the 11th darkness, the 11th waters.
Mm-hmm.
And think about how much they love the number 11.
Well, I wonder if we're heading here towards just like the 12 parts in chapter 26.
Well, yeah, it seems like the 12th part is the final one, right? Is so see, if you notice, you have 10 parts up to Josiah, part 11 being the Babylonian exile, part 12 being the redemption, the new day. So, second Baruk chapter 68, verse 1, in the bright 12th waters which you have seen, this is the word. For after these things, a time will come when your people shall fall into distress, the time of Jacob's trouble. So that shall all run the risk and perish together. Verse 3, nevertheless, they will be saved, and their enemies will fall in their presence. Notice this is the same exact language as Jeremiah 30, verse 7. The time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it, correct?
Shall be saved. Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, he shall be saved. Verse 4, and they will have in due time much joy. When we, right?
Second Exodus.
Second Exodus, once we get to the promised land, right? Verse 5, and at that time, after a little interval, Zion will again be built, and its offerings will again be restored, and the priests will return to their ministry, and also other nations will come to glorify it. Verse 6, nevertheless, not fully as in the beginning. Verse 7, but it will come to pass after these things that there will be the fall of many nations. Gog Magog, right?
Yeah.
Verse 8, These are the bright waters which you have seen. All right. Chapter 69, verse 1. For the last waters which you have seen were darker than all that were before them. Those which were after the 12th number, which were collected together, belong to the whole world. For the Most High made division from the beginning, because he alone knows what will befall. Verse 3. For as to the enormities and impieties which should be wrought before him, he foresaw 6 kinds of them. Verse 4. And of the good works of the righteous which should be accomplished before him, he foresaw 6 kinds of them, beyond those which he should work at the consummation of the age. Verse 5. On his account there were not black waters with black, nor bright with bright, for it is the consummation. I got to go back and study that one.
Yeah, no mingling of the waters.
Mm-hmm. Second Baruk chapter 70, verse 1. Hear therefore the interpretation of the last black waters which are to come after the black. This is the word. Verse 2. Behold, the days come, and it shall be when the time of the age has ripened, and the harvest of its evil and good seeds has come, that the Most High will bring upon the earth and its inhabitants and upon its rulers petribution of the spirit and stupor of the heart. Verse 3, there's your stupor again. So this is obviously leading to the 12 parts then, right?
Yeah.
Verse 3, and they shall hate one another and provoke one another to fight, and the mean shall rule over the honorable, and those of low degree shall be extolled above the famous. Verse 4, and the many shall be delivered into the hands of the few, and those who are nothing shall rule over the strong, and the poor shall have abundance beyond the rich, and the impious shall exalt themselves above the heroic. Verse 5, and the wise shall be silent, and the foolish shall speak. Neither shall the thought of men be then confirmed, nor the counsel of the mighty, nor shall the hope of those who hope be confirmed. Verse 6, and when those things which were predicted have come to pass, then shall confusion fall upon all men, and some of them shall fall in the battle, and some of them shall perish in anguish, and some of them shall be destroyed by their own.
I don't know what battle that's referencing, but the only thing at the end is God, may God.
Well, I was thinking a lot of people might be going over there to fight in this war, right?
Mm.
And so, from that perspective,
That was the end of chapter 70.
that was, well, no, hold on. Where was that?
Verse 8.
No, verse 7. Then Most High will reveal those people whom he has prepared before, and they shall come and make war with the leaders that shall be left. Is that a reference to David and Elijah?
Could
What do
very
you
well
think?
be.
Yeah. All right, I was able to pin the post on YouTube of the image, so that's up there at least now too.
I just saw it pop up.
Yeah. All right, so let's continue. Verse 8. And it shall come to pass that whosoever gets safe out of the war shall die in the earthquake, and whosoever gets safe out of the earthquake shall be burned by the fire, and whosoever shall get safe out of the fire shall be destroyed by the famine. Verse 9, and it shall come to pass that whosoever of the victors and the vanquished gets safe out of and escapes all these things said afore will be delivered into the hands of my servant the Messiah.
You know he's referencing the 12 parts right there when he said
Mm-hmm.
those in the earthquake will get
Mm-hmm.
out, get caught on fire.
Yeah.
Because
Verse
those,
verse 10, for all the earth shall devour its inhabitants. Absolutely, that's what it's talking about. All right.
but he
Second
brings,
group. Oh, go ahead.
but he brings the Messiah in here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Second.
so look at that again. Which part does the Messiah come in after the earthquake, or after? Is this a clue here of when Dao shows up in 12 parts?
And it shall come to pass that whosoever of the victors and the vanquished gets safe out of and escapes all these things aforesaid will be delivered into the hands of my servant the Messiah. Yeah.
So this is
Or at least a reference to him leading the Exodus, right? Leading them out. Yeah.
well. It sounds that the victor is vanquished.
Yeah, which seems to be at the end, right?
Yeah. Is this a reference to any of the heathen or whatever that get out or get through this, or the Israelites who get through this are going to be turned over to the Messiah? It doesn't say. I mean, I have to go back and read this. This is chapter 71,
70.
70. Okay. How does 70 end up?
That 70:10. For all the earth shall devour its inhabitants.
Okay,
All right, 71. Second Baruk, chapter 71, verse 1. And the Holy Land shall have mercy on its own, and shall protect its inhabitants at that time. Verse 2. This is the vision which you have seen, and this is the interpretation. Verse 3. For I have come to tell you these things because your prayer has been heard with the Most High.
where do you hear that? In Daniel.
Same. Yeah. All right. Second Baruch 72, verse 1. Hear now also regarding the bright lightning, which is to come at the consummation after these black waters. This is the word. Verse 2. After the signs have come, which you were told before, when the nations become turbulent, and the time of my Messiah is come, he shall both summon all nations, and some of them he shall spare, and some of them he shall slay. Verse 3. These things therefore shall come upon the nations which are to be spared by him. Verse 4. Every nation which knows not Israel and has not trodden down the seed of Jacob shall indeed be spared.
Pause there. How many nations have not abused the Israelites?
Mm, none.
I was going to say this. So is anybody going to be spared? I was just thinking about that statement.
Well, I think the next verse tells you this is because some out of every nation shall be subjected to your people.
Okay. Some out of every nation. There's the righteous stranger.
Righteous stranger, yeah, but that's verse 5. But notice verse 6. But all those who have ruled over you or have known you shall be given up to the sword.
Ooh,
All of them.
all of them.
All right. Second Baruk 73, verse 1. And it shall come to pass when he has brought low everything that is in the world, and has sat down in peace for the age on the throne of his kingdom, that joy shall then be revealed, and rest shall appear. Verse 2. And then healing shall descend in dew, and disease shall withdraw, and anxiety and anguish and lamentations pass from among men, and gladness proceed throughout the whole earth. Verse 3. And no one shall again die untimely, nor shall any adversity suddenly befall. Verse 4. And judgments and revilings and contentions and revenges and blood and passions and envy and hatred and whatsoever things are like these shall go into condemnation when they are removed. Verse 5. For it is these very things which have filled this world with evils, and on account of these the life of man has been greatly troubled. Verse 6. And wild beasts shall come from the forest and minister to men, and asps and dragons shall come forth from their holes and submit themselves to a little child. Verse 7. And women shall no longer then have pain when they bear,
Ooh,
nor shall they suffer torment when they yield the fruit of the womb. You don't have to watch your children be punished by the world anymore.
well, if I remember correctly, you remember Allie was wondering if she was going to see grandkids, and is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
There's the promise. If you go back before that, the verse before that, that's what Revelation says over there.
Which one? Which one?
One or two before you just read the.
Oh, the wild
Yeah.
beasts. Yeah, yeah, laying down. And well, they took that from Isaiah too, right? Isaiah 66, right? Um, all right, Second Baruch 74, verse 1. And it shall come to pass in those days that the reapers shall not grow weary, nor those that build be toil worn. For the works shall of themselves speedily advance together with those who do them in much tranquility. Verse 2. For that time is the consummation of that which is corruptible, and the beginning of that which is not corruptible. Verse 3. Therefore those things which were predicted shall belong to it. Therefore it is far away from evils, and near to those things which do not die. Verse 4. This is the bright lightning which came after the last dark waters.
It's a far cry from streets of gold
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
in a mansion. It's a perfect creation from the beginning. It's starting over.
Mm-hmm. All right, chapter 75, verse 1. And I answered and said, who can understand, O your goodness? For it is incomprehensible. Verse 2. Or who can search into your compassions, which are infinite? Verse 3. Or who can comprehend your intelligence? Verse 4. Or who is able to recount the thoughts of your mind? Verse 5. Or who of those who are born can hope to come to those things, unless he is one to whom you are merciful and gracious? Verse 6. Because if assuredly you did not have compassion on man, those who are under your right hand, they could not come to those things. But those who are in the numbers named can be called. Verse 7. But if indeed we who exist know wherefore we have come, and submit ourselves to him who brought us up out of Egypt, We shall come again and remember those things which have passed and shall rejoice regarding that which has been. Verse 8. But if now we know not wherefore we have come, and recognize not the principate of him who brought us up out of Egypt, that's the Messiah, right? And recognize not the Messiah of him who brought us up out of Egypt, we shall come again and seek after those things which have now been and be grieved with pain because of those things which have befallen. Chapter 76, verse 1. And he answered and said to me, insomuch as the revelation of this vision has been interpreted to you as besought, hear the word of the Most High, that you may know what is to befall you after these things. Verse 2. For you shall surely depart from this earth, nevertheless not to death, but you shall be preserved to the consummation of the times. Verse 3.
That was a
Go.
that was a
Yeah,
Daniel.
just like Daniel, right? Yeah. Verse 3. Go up therefore to the top of that mountain, and there shall pass before you all the regions of that land, and the figure of the inhabited world, and the tops of the mountains, and the depths of the valleys, and the depths of the seas, and the numbers of the rivers, that you may see what you are leaving and whither you are going. Seems to be just like he told Moses, go up to the mountain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And look at it. Now this shall befall after 40 days. Go now, therefore, during these days and instruct the people so far as you are able, that they may learn so as not to die at the last time, but may learn in order that they may live at the last times.
Or he's instructing them. He's teaching them. Hey, you want eternal life? This is what it is.
All
It's the
right.
eternal Torah.
Yeah. How to survive the judgment, basically.
Yeah.
Chapter 77, verse 1. And I, Baruk, went thence and came to the people and assembled them together from the greatest to the least, and said to them, hear ye, children of Israel, behold, how many you are who remain of the 12 tribes of Israel. Verse 3. For to you and to your fathers Ao gave a Torah more excellent than to all peoples. Verse 4. But because your brothers transgressed the commandments of the Most High, he brought vengeance upon you and upon them, and he spared not the former, and the latter also he gave into captivity. Verse 5. And he left not a remnant of them, but behold, you are here with me. Verse 6. If therefore you direct your ways aright, ye shall also not depart as your brothers departed, but they shall come to you. Verse 7. For he is merciful whom you worship, and he is gracious in whom you hope, and he is true, so that he shall do good and not evil. Verse 8. Have you not seen here what has befallen Zion? Verse 9. Or do you perchance think that the place had sinned, and that on this account it was overthrown? Or that the land had wrought foolishness, and that therefore it was delivered up? Verse 10. And know ye not that on account of you who did sin, that which sinned was not overthrown, and on account of those who wrought wickedly, that those who wrought foolishness, that which wrought not foolishness was delivered up to his enemies? So notice what it's saying, that those who were wicked didn't get overthrown, and those who were righteous were delivered up to their enemies.
Sounded like the toilet over there.
Mm-hmm. Verse 11. And the whole people answered and said to me, so far as we can recall the good things which the Most High has done to us, we do recall them. And those things which we do not remember, he in his mercy knows. Verse 12. Nevertheless, do this for us, your people. Write also to our brothers in Babylon a cipher of doctrine and a scroll of hope, that you may confirm them also before you depart from us. Verse 13, for the shepherds of Israel have perished, and the lamps which gave light are extinguished, and the fountains have withheld their stream whence we used to drink. Verse 14, and we are left in the darkness amidst the trees of the forest and the thirst of the wilderness. Verse 15, and I answered and said to them, shepherds and lamps and fountains come from the Torah. And though we depart, yet the Torah abides. Verse 16, if therefore you have respect to the Torah and are intent upon wisdom, a lamp will not be wanting, and a shepherd will not fail, and a fountain will not dry up. Verse 17, nevertheless, as you said to me, I will also write to your brothers in Babylon, and I will send by means of men, and I will write in like manner to the 10 tribes, and send by means of a bird.
A bird.
And it, yeah, very interesting. And it came to pass that on the 21st day of the 8th month, that I, Baruk, came and sat down under the oak, under the shadow of the branches, and no man was with me, but I was alone. And I wrote these 2 sefer. One I sent by an eagle to the 10 tribes, and the other I sent to those men that were at Babylon by the means of 3 men. Verse 20, and I called the eagle and spoke these words to it. Verse 21, the Most High has made you that you should be higher than all birds. Verse 22, and now go and tarry not in any place, nor enter a nest, nor settle upon any tree till you have passed over the breadth of the many waters of the river Euphrates, and have gone to the people that dwell there and cast down to them this sefer. Verse 23, remember moreover that the time of the deluge, that at the time of the flood, Noah received from a dove the fruit of the olive, which he sent forth from the ark. Verse 24, yea, also the Arabians ministered to huh?
Yeah, I can't help you because I can't see it.
Is that yea also the Arabians ministered to, is that Elijah? Is that should I say, yea, also the ravens ministered to Elijah, bearing him food as they had been commanded? Why does it say Abram? That doesn't make any sense. Angels, maybe?
Where are you at?
I'm at 77:24. Because think about it. So look at what he's saying. So remember, we talked about this, the symbolism of the ark, right? He sends out a raven first, right?
Oh,
And then he sends out the dove. We know the ravenous bird is Elijah, the dove is Dao, right? Okay, look at so verse 23. Remember moreover that at the time of the flood, Noah received from a dove the fruit of the olive which he sent forth from the ark. I would assume that should say the fruit of the almond. Um,
Avarim there is Abram.
no, no. Because think about it. Then look, yea, also the Abram ministered to Elijah, bearing him food as they had been commanded.
Arabians.
I think it's birds. Because look at verse 25. Solomon, also in the time of his kingdom, whithersoever he wished to send or seek for anything, commanded a bird to go thither, and it obeyed him as he commanded it. So obviously that should be David.
Mhm.
26, now let it not weary you, and turn not to the right hand or to the left, but fly and go by a direct way, that you may guard the command of the Most High, according as I said to you. Interesting. All right. Second Baruk 78. These are the words of that Sefer which Baruk the son of Nerihu sent to the 10 tribes which were across the river Euphrates, in which things were written. Thus says Baruk the son of Nerihu to the brothers carried into captivity. Verse 3, mercy and peace. I bear in mind, my brothers, the love of him who created us, who loved us from of old and never hated us, but above all educated us. Verse 4, and truly I know that, behold, all we, the 12 tribes, are bound by one bond, inasmuch as we are born from one Father. Verse 5, wherefore I have been the more careful to leave you the words of this Sefer before I die, that you may be comforted regarding the evils which have come upon you, and that you may be grieved also regarding the evil that has befallen your brothers. And again, also that you may justify his judgment, which he has decreed against you, that you should be carried away captives, for what you have suffered is disproportionate to what you have done, in order that at the last times you may be found worthy of your fathers. Verse 6, therefore, if you consider that you have now suffered those things for your good, that you may not be finally condemned and tormented, then you will receive eternal hope. If above all you destroy from your heart vain error, on account of which you departed hence. Verse 7, verse 7, for if you so do these things, he will continually remember you. He who always promised on our behalf to those who were more excellent than we, that he will never forget or forsake us, but with much mercy will gather together again those who were dispersed. Hallelujah. Chapter 79, verse 1. Now, my brothers, learn first what befell Zion, how that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against us. Verse 2. For we have sinned against him who made us, and we have not kept the commandments which he commanded us. Yet he has not chastened us as we deserved. Verse 3. For what befell you, we also suffer in preeminent degree, for it befell us also. Sorry, let me get a water. All right. Second Baruch chapter 80, verse 1. And now, my brothers, I make known to you that when the enemy has surrounded the city, the angels of the Most High were sent, and they overthrew the fortifications of the strong wall, and they destroyed the firm iron corners, which could not be rooted out. Verse 2, nevertheless, they hid all the vessels of the sanctuary, lest the enemy should get possession of them. Verse 3, and when they had done these things, they delivered thereupon to the enemy the overthrown wall, and the plundered house, and the burnt temple, and the people who were overcome because they were delivered up, lest the enemy should boast and say, verse 4, thus by force we have been able to lay waste even to the house of the Most High in war. Verse 5, your brothers also have they bound and led away to Babylon, and have caused them to dwell there. Verse 6, but we have been left here, being very few. Verse 7, this is the tribulation about which I wrote to you. For assuredly I know that the consolation of the inhabitants of Zion console you, so far as you knew that it was prospered for your consolation. So far as you knew that it was prospered for your consolation was greater than the tribulation which you endured in having to depart from it. Chapter 81, verse 1, but regarding consolation, hear you the word. Verse 2, for I was mourning regarding Zion, and I prayed for mercy from the Most High, and I said, verse 3, how long will these things endure for us? And will these evils come upon us always? Verse 4, and the Most High did according to the multitude of his mercies, and the Most High according to the greatness of his compassion, and he revealed to me the word, that I might receive consolation. And he showed me visions that I should not again endure anguish. And he made known to me the mystery of the times, and the advent of the hours he showed me. I'm sorry, brother. 1 second. What was that? Verse 3, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
No, verse 2. For you know that our Maker will assuredly avenge us on all our enemies according to all that they have done to us. Also, that the consummation which the Most High will make is very nigh, and his mercy that is coming and the consummation of his judgment is by no means far off. Verse 3. For lo, we see now the multitude of the prosperity of other nations, though they act impiously, but they shall be like a vapor. Verse 4. And we behold the multitude of their power, though they do wickedly, but they shall be made like unto a drop. Verse 5. And we see the firmness of their might, though they resist the Most High every hour, but they shall be accounted as spittle. Verse 6. And we consider the glory of their greatness, though they do not guard the statutes of the Most High, but as smoke shall they pass away. Verse 7. And we meditate on the beauty of their gracefulness, though they have to do with pollutions, but as grass that withers shall they fade away. Verse 8. And we consider the strength of their cruelty, though they remember not the end thereof, but as a wave that passes shall they be broken. Verse 9. And we remark the boastfulness of their might, though they deny the beneficence of the Most High, who gave it to them, but they shall pass away as a passing cloud. Chapter 83, verse 1. For the Most High will assuredly hasten his times, and he will assuredly bring on his hours. Verse 2. And he will assuredly judge those who are in his world, and will visit in truth all things by means of all their hidden works. Verse 3. And he will assuredly examine the secret thoughts, and that which is laid up in the secret chambers of all the members of man, and will make them manifest in the presence of all with reproof. Verse 4. Let none, therefore, of these present things ascend into your hearts, but above all, let us be expectant, because that which is promised to us shall come. Verse 5. And let us now look to the delights of the other nations in the present. I'm sorry, verse 5. And let us not now look to the delights of the other nations in the present, but let us remember what has been promised to us in the end. Verse 6. For the end of the times and of the seasons, and whatsoever is with them shall assuredly pass by together. Verse 7. The consummation, moreover, of the age shall then show the great might of its ruler, when all things come to judgment. Verse 8. Do you therefore prepare your hearts for that which before you believe, lest ye come to be in the bondage in both worlds, so that you be led away captive here and be tormented there. Verse 9. For that which exists now, or which has passed away, or which is to come, in all these things neither is the evil fully evil, nor again the good fully good. Verse 10. For all healthiness of this time are turning into diseases. Verse 11. And all might of this time is turning into weakness, and all the force of this time is turning into impotence. Verse 12. And every energy of youth is churning into old age and consummation, and every beauty of gracefulness of this time is churning faded and hateful. Verse 13, and every proud dominion of the present is churning into humiliation and shame, and every praise of the glory of this time is churning into the shame of silence. Verse 14, and every vain splendor and insolence of this time is churning into voiceless ruin. Verse 15, and every delight and joy of this time is churning to worms and corruption. Verse 16, and every clamor of the pride of this time is churning into dust and fullness. Verse 17, and every possession of riches of this time is being churned into the grave alone. Verse 18, and all the rapine of passion of this time is churning into involuntary death. And every passion of the lusts of this time is churning into the judgment of torment. Verse 19, and every artifice and craftiness of this time is churning into a proof of the truth. Verse 20, and every sweetness of unguents of this time is churning into judgment and condemnation. Verse 21, and every love of lying is churning into the contumely through truth. 22, since therefore all these things are done now, does anyone think that they will not be avenged? But the consummation of all things will come to the truth.
Yeah. Is that the end of the chapter?
Yeah, that's in chapter 83.
It seems this everything that we've been reading is that the 12 darknesses or the 12 stations of the dark waters and the light waters is a greater finite definition of chapter 26 of the 12 parts. And then now we're getting into the actual judgment of the end. It's very interesting how Baruk lays this out.
Yeah, fascinating. All right. 84, verse 1, behold, I have therefore made it known to you these things while I live. For I have said that ye should learn things that are excellent. For the Most High has commanded me to instruct you, and I will set before you some of the commandments of his judgment before I die. Verse 2, remember that formerly Moses surely called heavens and earth to witness against you and said, verse 3, if you transgress the Torah, you shall be dispersed. But if you guard it, you shall be guarded. Verse 4, and other things also he used to say to you when the 12 tribes were together in the desert. Verse 5, and after his death you cast them away from you. On this account there came upon you what had been predicted. And now Moses used to tell you before they befell you, and lo, they have befallen you, for you have forsaken the Torah. Verse 6, lo, I also say to you, after you have suffered, that if you obey those things which have been said to you, you will receive them from the Most High, whatsoever has been laid up and reserved for you. Verse 7, moreover, let this sefer be for a testimony between me and you, that you may remember the commandments of the Most High, and that also there may be to me a defense in the presence of him who sent me. Verse 8, and remember you the Torah in Zion, and the Holy Land in your brothers, and the covenant of your fathers, and forget not the feasts and the Sabbaths. Verse 9, and deliver you this sefer and the truth of the Torah to your sons after you, as also your fathers delivered them to you. Verse 10, and at all times make request perseveringly and pray diligently with your whole heart that the Most High may be reconciled to you, and that he may not reckon the multitude of your sins, but remember the rectitude of your fathers. Verse 11, for if he judges us not according to the multitudes of his mercy, woe to all of us who are born.
Hallelujah.
For we have all gone astray. Right? Isn't that what Isaiah says? We have
Yeah.
all forsaken the Torah.
Well, you're reading here, and what I'm thinking of is the guy, the Israelite. There, his wife works at the school, and he made this statement to you. Mayron, this is great, but how are we going to make money on with this?
Yeah.
That's who I'm thinking. What's that guy's name? Israel?
Lennox.
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 Oh,
All right, chapter 85, verse 1. Know ye moreover that in former times and in the generations of old, our fathers had helpers, righteous men and holy prophets. Verse 2. No more. Nay, more, we were in our own land, and they helped us when we sinned, and they interceded for us with him who made us, because they trusted in their works, and the Most High heard their prayer and forgave us. Verse 3. But now the righteous have been gathered, and the prophets have fallen asleep. And we also have gone forth from the land, and Zion has been taken from us, and we have nothing now save the Most High and his Torah. Verse 4. If therefore we direct and dispose our hearts, we shall receive everything that we lost, and much better things than we lost by many times. Think about Job.
yeah.
Is Job representing the nation of Israel?
Oh my goodness. That's a great understanding.
Yeah, it has to be, right? I have to go back and read it with that, because you got to look at what this says. I mean, verse 4: If we therefore direct and dispose our hearts, we shall receive everything that we lost, and much better things than we lost by many times. That's exactly what happens to Job.
Is reading Job through the eyes of all of Yasharal.
Yeah, yeah, really interesting. We're gonna go back and do that. Maybe we'll discuss that next Thursday. Verse 5: For what we have lost was subject to corruption, and what we shall receive shall not be corruptible. Hallelujah. Verse 6. Moreover, I have also written to us, our brothers in Babylon, to them that also I may attest these very things. Verse 7. And let all those things aforesaid be always before your eyes, because we are still in the spirit and the power of our liberty. Verse 8. Again, moreover, the Most High also is long suffering towards us here, and he has shown to us that which is to be, and has not concealed from us that which will befall in the end. Verse 9. Verse 9. Before therefore judgment exact its own, and truth that which is its due, let us prepare our soul that we may possess and not be taken possession of, that we may hope and not be put to shame, that we may rest with our fathers and not be tormented with our enemies. Verse 10. For the youth of the world is past, and the strength of creation already exhausted. And the advent of the times is very short. Yea, they have passed by, and the pitcher is near to the cistern, and the ship to the port, and the course of the journey to the city, and life to its consummation. Verse 11. And again prepare your souls, so that when you sail and ascend from the ship, you may have rest and not be condemned when you depart. Verse 12. For lo, when the Most High will bring to pass all these things, there shall not be again a place of repentance, nor a limit to the times, nor a duration for the hours, nor a change of ways, nor a place of prayer, nor sending of petition, nor receiving of knowledge, nor giving of love, nor place of repentance for the soul, nor supplication for offenses, nor intercession of the fathers, nor prayer of the prophets, nor help of the righteous.
Sounds
13.
It sounds like he's just stomping the Catholics out right there.
Mhm. Verse 13. For there is the sentence of corruption, the way of fire, and the path which brings to Sheol. Verse 14. On this account there is one Torah by one age. On this account there is one Torah by one age, and an end for all who are in it. Verse 15. Then will he guard those whom he can forgive, and at the same time destroy those who are polluted with sin, whom he can forgive. How can he forgive you?
By your righteousness.
Because you keep Torah.
By your righteousness.
Hallelujah. Oh.
I mean, that's the resounding theme here that it was in verse 2, the eternal Torah.
Mm-hmm. No, it's old and dusty though. All right, let's finish this. Two chapters left. Chapter 86, verse 1. When therefore you receive this my sefer, read it in all your assemblies with care, and meditate thereon, above all on the days of your fasts. Verse 3. And bear me in mind by means of this sefer, as I also bear you in mind in it, and always fare you well. Chapter 87, verse 1. And it came to pass when I had ended all the words of this sefer, and had written it seditiously to its close, that I folded it and sealed it carefully, and bound it to the neck of the eagle, and dismissed and sent it. Hallelujah. It's a beautiful, beautiful sefer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I thought, a great discussion as we, ponder the vision of the morning and the evening, which was told is true. And now we see the dark waters and the light waters, and the discussion of the story of Earth's history, the 7,000 years told by the prophet Baruk.
It was very definitive.
And the new day is coming.
The new day is gonna dawn.
As the Beatles say, here comes the sun.
Here comes the sun.
Hallelujah.
Was that the Beatles?
Yeah, here comes the sun. I think so. I think it's the Beatles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you can think about Elton John, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, which is the darkness, right? The 3,500 year evening vision, right?
Yeah.
And so, as we always say, they're always mocking.
Oh, they're always at work.
But judgment is here. And notice, again, as we've been harping on, they want you to believe the Christian prophecies. The new toilet was written by your enemies, designed to deceive the children of Israel. And so that's why you're seeing all the things that we're told of in Matthew 24, Luke 21. How will you know it's the end of the world? Well, first, what does he say? Be careful. Other people are going to come and say they're the Messiah. So, for example, a black man named David's going to appear and tell you he's the Messiah. Don't believe it.
No, because Massa says he's white.
Massa says it's not true. Massa says it's not true.
Mm.
Right? And then think about it. And there shall be wars and rumors of wars, but that's just the beginning of the sorrows, right?
Mm.
And then if you go to Luke, right, where Luke says, when you see Jerusalem encompassed round about with armies, right? Gives you a future glimpse of where this war over there in Disneyland is heading, right?
Very good glimpse.
But then also, what is it? Let me pull it up right now. It's Thessalonians, right? Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians 5:3. It says, this is how do we, and she goes, let's just take a look at what it says real quick. 1 Thessalonians 5:3. It says, for when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction comes upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And so the latest news out of Disneyland is that we have a 2-week ceasefire.
Hey, there's Brother Julian. I see him.
Hey, Brother Julian. Let's invite him up. Yeah, I'm going to pin that news article.
Shalom. I finally made it.
Yeah, we missed you the last call. It was last week too. You missed, huh?
Yeah. How long have you guys been going?
We started at 5.
5? Oh, okay.
5 Eastern. 5
5
Eastern.
Eastern. Okay, so like 1
Hour
Pacific
and a
Standard?
half. Hour and a half. Yeah, been going for an hour and a half.
Alright.
Right.
We were reading Second Baruk, chapters 56 to 87. Yeah, we were over there. How you been, Julian?
Pretty good. Just reading my scriptures. That's about it. How about y'all?
Oh, no complaints. We're very thankful. Very thankful. Yeah. And you posted that U.S. and Iran agree to 2-week ceasefire, suspending Trump's threat.
Yeah. So again, just emphasizing that we know how this is going to unfold. Sudden destruction is going to come upon them because David and Elijah are here. It's only a matter of time before the world is aware, and Revelation 13:13 is fulfilled, and fire rains down from heaven in the sight of all men.
Mm-hmm. How is I forgot what I was going to say. It was something about what you just said. Yeah. Oh, I know. I was thinking of Isaiah 14 with Nebuchadnezzar in Second Baruch. I don't know where it was. It was probably 68 or something like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That was interesting,
Mm-hmm.
which just made me think about. I don't know why this ceasefire made me think of that. But they've been crying the peace thing here for which I don't pay attention to. I don't watch it, but I see it on YouTube, scrolling through YouTube out there in the background. All their stuff that they're doing.
Well, so I wanted to read as we ponder again the coming new day, right? The new day Coop, right? Just reading here Psalms 46. I think it's a beautiful promise. So Psalms chapter 46, verse 1. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Verse 2. Therefore will we not fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea. Verse 3. Though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with swelling thereof. Selah. Verse 4. There is a river that streams there, whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. Verse 5. God lives within it. It cannot be moved. God shall rescue her at the break of dawn. The Queen James hides it. It says, God shall help her in that right early. But if you look at what it's trying to convey there, it's at the churning of the morning. God will help her at the break of the day. So when it's the darkest period, right before the dawn, that's when the Messiah is sent and God redeems his people.
Just like
And,
Jacob.
and that's exactly the moment that we're in right now. Exactly. Just like Jacob's trouble. So if we go to Jacob's trouble and we go to Genesis 32, I believe 24 it begins. 24 it says, and Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And then verse 26, and God said, let me go, for the day breaks. So God is going to test you. He's going to say, let go of me. As the time of Jacob's trouble unfolds, let go of me, give up. What are you holding on to? They're right. They're right. There's nothing coming to save you. But remember, your answer is just like Jacob's. I will not let you go except you bless me. Because we know his promise is true. So if we hold on, we will be blessed. It's a beautiful promise.
And Jacob's trouble is approximately 2 years, according to how long they were in Canaan before they went to Egypt down to get corn.
Yeah, the 2 years of famine before Joseph's brothers join him in Egypt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that makes us ponder, is it going to be 2 years before David establishes Goshen and starts to bring the children of Israel out of the tribulation?
What I see with all the construction of the roads coming from Charleston, coming east to Asheville, they're just starting to interchange in Asheville now. And all this is heading west. It's at least 2 years away to finish the road system, in conjunction with the Israelites coming back.
They're preparing for us to be able to go to God's holy mountain and worship. Every nation. They're doing it for us.
They're paving the road, exactly.
Of course.
I asked an Israelite the other day. I had an Israelite truck. I had two of them. Israelite truck driver come in, and I asked him. I said, "Why do you think they're 8-lane in the road from Charleston to Asheville?" He says, "I have no idea. There's not that much traffic there." I said, "Because he's making the highway. That's what is that? Isaiah 11:15 or so. He's gonna make the highway go west."
16, 11, 16.
11:16. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, every time we go to Charleston, it just you just look, there's nobody on the road, even though it's 8 lanes. So, what else did you want to? What else in conjunction with Isaiah or Psalms 46?
Well, there's so many verses about the new day. There's so many of them. If we want to go over them.
Well, you were working on that. I've been working on the Oregon Trail, the Mormon Trail, the river system, and all that, and what that had to do with the Israelites out west. And another thing made me think about that was the Oregon Trail went through or the Mormon Trail, goes right from Omaha and goes west on the Platte River right above Utah, goes all the way to Oregon. But the Comanche, the Comanche Indians, I mean, that was their territory. And they were the most feared Indians besides the Blackfeet, I guess you could say, and the Apache and some others. But the Comanche were some of the roughest. And the Mormons just, dilly dallied, went west in 1830, right in the heart of Comanche country, and just set up this, and they just the Comanches rolled the red carpet out for them. I don't think so. So there's another question there going on.
And yeah, we were talking about the white lion, the white lie.
Yeah.
And so here, let me put up that map because that map is really nice. So, and there, it's really interesting because obviously you have Memphis, Tennessee, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have, and obviously Memphis was the name of Egypt, the capital of Egypt. Okay, and then so there's this song by Arrested Development called Tennessee, and it's Israelites, right? And they're singing, for some strange reason, it had to be, he guided me to Tennessee. And that strange reason was Deuteronomy 28:68, the fulfillment of the promise of the final captivity. And so being brought back to Egypt on ships was actually coming down the Nile River back to Egypt, and then them being dispersed from there to the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once you look at that, is that the Missouri River there comes from the headwaters of Yellowstone. And we'll talk
And also
about
southern Illinois being called Little Egypt as well.
Little Egypt. There was over 2,500 pyramids in this region. They said there was over 50,000 mounds. The mound builders, the Smithsonian, destroyed more than 90% of them. And when we saw destroyed was dig into them, get the artifacts, and then just level it, and then you don't hear about the artifacts anymore. But you have to contend with it because none of it fits over in Disneyland. Did you want to go over the scriptures, the breaking of the day? The other ones that you have?
Sure.
Can you put that other map up there too about the showing the Mormon Trail or the Oregon Trail, where we think the Babylonians used to get them? It brings you only 80 miles north of Jerusalem out there, Salt Lake City.
Which link was that? Which one was that one?
There's another map. There's another map link in that.
In the same email?
Yeah, the same email. It's down towards the bottom.
Uh-huh.
You'll see another link that'll show
the Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Now look at the map. Okay, well, hold on. Where's the link? Is it Wikipedia one?
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's this one. Hold on. Let me put it in and tell me if it's right.
Well, just shows up close. The from Omaha, where the Oregon Trail goes right along the Platte River, right above Utah and out west.
I'm assuming it's this one that you're talking about.
Yeah, that one there. It's just I can't. Let me see. Go to link. Let me go to it. Yeah, right there. That if you see that map right there, you can see where it starts. And then that trail, if you just follow the trail right there, that goes from Omaha
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the one. See if I can get back out of here.
Thanks, Dave.
I'm trying to get back to the. Oh, done. Yeah, let's go over the dawning, the new day scriptures.
All right. So, all right. Again, just going over the vision of the morning and the evening, which was told is true. So again, the end of the vision is the darkest portion, Jacob's trouble, Daniel 12:1. After David arises, um, and then we're going to have a new day. So what we're going to look at is all the language about how salvation of Al Israel is a new day. So starting first in Numbers 24:17. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel. So you notice the star out of Jacob. Think about like a star rising sun, right? And the scepter, right? Also, again, he's going to have Moses' staff, right? And that's what he's going to use to smite the corners of Moab, right? And destroy the children of Seth. So the star rising there. Proverbs 4, verse 18. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shines more and more until the perfect day. All right, then Joel chapter 2. Again, the Queen James tries to make it so you don't see it, but there's a period that's missing. So Joel chapter 2, verse 2, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, period, right? Again, that's referring to the day of the Lord, okay? And again, to me, that's, it's not, people don't see it, people don't see it coming, it's hidden away, right? But then notice after that, as the morning spread upon the mountains. So you see that sunrise language upon the mountains. And then we're told about this great people, the like of which there's never been, which means that these people are greater than Moses and Aaron. And there will never be anyone like them afterwards, it says. Well, you think about it, if Moses and Aaron were just two people, right, regular humans, the prophet Elijah, who's been in heaven for 3,500 years, and David, who was just resurrected from the dead, are greater than two regular humans, right? And they're going to have power like the world has never seen.
Goes back to Joseph and his obeisance from his brothers and mother and all that.
Mm-hmm.
The coat of many colors. The
I
breastplate.
thought it was funny that when Judah got his blessing, he said, "Your brothers shall bow to you."
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about it in Genesis 49.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's another verse here where it says the lawgiver will not depart from Judah, but the lawgiver is Moses. Moses' lineage is not Judah, right? It doesn't make any sense. All right, but let's continue. Malachi chapter 4, verse 2. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and you shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. Well, it's really you shall be released from the stall, right? So it's again opening up the prison.
Well, it's, you know what that reminds me of? I haven't watched them, but I glance across some of these YouTube videos where it says like the tiger has been chained up for its whole life. Watch what it does when it's set free. Or the horse has never been out of the barn, in the stall, and they go free, or they get out of the bear gets out of the cage from the zoo. I mean, you can imagine the heartbreak of these animals being caged up like this all their lives. But that's why I don't know where it is, but I think it's in the Apocrypha where it talks about you're going to be responsible for your care of his animals, his beast. The misuse of his beast is what's going to happen. So the calf leaving the stall is, I watch these calves out in the field, and the calves, how they play together. They're always running and skipping and jumping and chasing each other and all that. And that reminds me of that scripture which you were talking about there. You have another one to read.
Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1. Arise, shine, for your light is come, and the glory of Ao is risen upon you. Verse 2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But Ao shall arise upon you, and his glory shall be seen upon you. Verse 3. And the Gentiles shall come to your light, and the kings to the brightness of your rising. So you see this rising sun symbolism, right? Like Japan's flag, the rising sun, right? Just like the new toilet, just like the toilet, right? They didn't come up with this stuff; they stole it.
Just before you mentioned the rising sun of Japan, I was thinking of the Japanese when they attacked Pearl Harbor, the rising sun. And then you mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing new under the sun.
Verse 3. The God of Israel said, the rock of Israel spoke to me. He that rules over men must be just, ruling in the fear of God. This is talking about David. Verse 4. And he shall be as the light of the morning when the sun rises, even a morning without clouds, as the tender grass springs out of the earth by clear shining after rain. All right. Let's continue. Isaiah 58, verse 8. Then shall your light break forth as the morning, and your health shall spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you, and the glory of Ao shall be your reward. I mean, it's hard to ignore how obvious it is once you see it, right? Hosea chapter 6, verse 3. Then shall we know if we follow on to know Ao. His going forth is prepared as the morning, and he shall come to us as the rain, as the latter rain and the former rain to the earth. David twice, right?
Reference to the Messiah.
Psalms 30, verse 5. For his anger endures for a moment, but his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Then we already did Psalms 46, 5, right? And then so just two more here. Actually, no, a couple more. Psalms 130, verse 6. My soul waits for all, more than they that watch for the morning. I say more than they that watch for the morning. And then Isaiah 21:12, which I believe is Jeremiah 8:8 here, because they reversed it. The watchman said, the morning comes and also the night. If you want to ask, ask, come back yet again. So notice though what it should say, because when the watchman is speaking in the time of Isaiah, what's coming at that time is the night. So it should say, I believe, the watchman said the night comes and also the morning, right? Because that's the correct order. And then finally, we already went over Genesis 32, but just to rehash it, Genesis 32:24. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. 25. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. Verse 26. And God said, let me go, for the day breaks. And Jacob said, I will not let you go except you bless me. Verse 27. And he said to him, what is your name? And he said, Jacob. Verse 28, and he said, your name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince you have wrestled with God and man and have prevailed. Verse 29, and Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray you, your name. And he said, wherefore is it that you do ask after my name? And he blessed him there.
It's interesting how the name stops. They don't mention it here.
And notice in verse 30, Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Verse 31. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose upon him.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, just to emphasize, God told God from Genesis, from Isaiah 46, 9 and 10, we can identify the one true living God because he told us the end of the story from the beginning. And this entire story of the vision of the morning and the evening and the dawning of the new day is told to us in the first 5 verses of Torah. Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Verse 2, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Verse 3, and God said, let there be light, and there was light, the morning vision. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. So he separates light and darkness. God called the light day, 3,500 years of light, and he called the darkness night, 3,500 years of darkness. And the evening and the morning were the first day, followed by the new day, the rising of the sun to start the next day. And so you see the truth that he actually did tell us the end from the beginning. Hallelujah.
Yeah, Pharaoh says there's 20 countries around the world that have the sun on their flag.
Mm-hmm. Iran, the rising sun with the lion holding the sword, right? Also clear Messiah symbolism. The rising sun of Japan, yeah, clearly. Again, they're not creative. They didn't come up with this story.
They borrowed it and stole it.
They misappropriated it.
The greatest story never told.
Mm-hmm. Hallelujah.
Yeah. Those were good scriptures. All right, we've been going 2 hours.
I got nothing else.
Yeah, I don't. Julian, you have anything else? I see Jay Bird's there. I don't know if he has anything chat about.
No, I'm good right now, but I thought it was pretty cool. My last name is Heredia, and in like Latin it means I believe it means like warrior of the day or something. Heredia. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Where does that come from, or what so-called nationality does that come from?
I believe it probably comes from Spain.
Uh-huh.
Last name means soldiers or servants of God.
Mm. That's interesting.
Yeah. All right.
All
Well,
right, well,
pray all praise to the Most High. We thank
All
you.
praises to the Most High.
Yeah.
Shalom.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming. And then,
same time next week.
Yeah.
See you soon. Baruk.
all right.
Peace.
Shalom.